Just 1 second, okay? Okay. So we are discussing a question. Carry out pre-flight check. Other info you'll write. No HF on board. Who can tell me what is the meaning of this? And who can tell me what is the item number in your iGov flight plan for other information? Om, tell me the answer.
Yeah, item number 18, Victor Tango Oscar Michael.
Sushita, cross-check the answer.
Sir, iCATS flight plan, it is right.
No, cross-check the answer. Give me the answer, it means. Cross-verify. Give me the answer.
Sir, iCATS flight plan, element number 18.
Yeah, there's only one flight plan. Item numbers will be registered along with that only. Exam flight plan structure could always change. We don't have to account for the sequence in exam flight plan unless it is in tandem or in sync with the iCATS flight plan. Okay. Okay. Good. So carry out pre-flight checks, no HF on board. Jyotsna, how will this other info impact your carry out pre-flight check with respect to giving a check?
So in this, we can't do the cell call check.
Sorry, say again.
So in the if the HF board is not on board, then we can't do the cell call check.
We can do or we cannot do. What are you saying? I cannot make out. Are you saying can or can't? Be clear. Use RT phrases. Use RT phrases. See, students, even when you're communicating, it's very essential in class. We try to use RT phrases. Otherwise, see, the reason we don't use these words are because it can be confusing. See, all this you have to know. All this you have to know before you go to the exam. And you will see clearing your exam is very easy then. Yeah. So say again, what is the impact of this other information on your pre-flight check call?
So if there is negative HF on board, then we cannot do the cell call check, selective calling check.
Can you do other communication on HF?
Negative, sir. So we have to do the only on VHF.
So what would be the better statement? No HF on board. Quick, Jyotsna, 5-second rule. What would be a better statement? You have to give an answer. You cannot be quiet. Students, rule number 1, you have to talk. No dead air, remember? No dead air. No HF on board.
Recalling it.
No, tell me the logical answer. How can you not recall? You know the answer. Give me the answer with respect to the question I'm asking. Come on. What does it mean? You have no HF on board. Overall, what does it mean? Come on. Will you be quiet in the exam if the examiner is intimidating, pressurizing, shouting, telling you that you made mistakes, why you're doing this? Will you just forget everything, or will you bounce back and give them what they need? Think about it. It all starts with one error, and then the chain could follow with respect to the exam performance also. We need to have our stronghold maintained. What does it mean? Quick, Josna, I need an answer. You cannot get away by not giving an answer. What do you think is the final meaning of no HF on board? Is it just related to pre-flight check? Give me one answer. Please follow the rule. Acknowledge. If you don't know, acknowledge. You know the phrases. Don't be quiet. Come on.
So currently, I'm only recalling that we cannot do the cell call check, and all the calls have to do only on the VHF.
Very good. Very good. End with your call sign. That's it.
Victor Tango Juliet Yankee Oscar.
That's it. You know the answer. They are just looking for a specific way for you to report, because that's the rule of RT. You have to do that, students. If you don't do that, in the end, it'll be difficult for us if we make mistakes. And we all will end up making some of the other mistakes. So what's going to help us is, okay, be in sync. No HF on board means HF communications are not possible. It means only VHF communication is possible. So all the calls that I have to give on HF will not be possible because there is no HF on board. So it will not only apply to cell call, it will apply to all HF reports, all HF calls, all HF messages. Same thing, but you need to be very thorough and very clear, because this is what they are looking for. And you cannot be pushed around by people. You have to fight back. You have to enjoy this process. You have to be like, okay, एक minute, मैं बताता हूँ, रुको, stand by. At least say stand by, Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo. At least acknowledge. That is what you are learning here. You're not learning to give correct answers to correct questions. You're learning to acknowledge appropriately with a very good situational awareness. That is the secret to clearing RT. In simple words. But do we understand these terms? No. We just understand question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. But you have to merge the two things. And then you will see the impact is so good. I'll wake you up in your sleep and I'll give you 5 situations and you'll easily give me crystal clear calls. Those crystal clear calls, when they are aligned with your situational awareness, that gives you success. And for that, you don't need to solve anything else apart from what you're learning in class. This is something everybody should learn from this example, that if you make one error due to situational awareness, then examiners are going to play with your mind and check. If you don't make any errors, then they might not know and they might just go with the flow of call, answer, couple of replies, couple of readbacks, go to next question, good paper. So choice is ours. If we are making mistake, we are ready to improve it by being aware and by not being pushed. Now I'm pushing a student is getting pushed, but in the end, student is empowered and giving an answer finally. In the examination, they are not going to empower us. This is a fact. We need to find that within. I've heard it from so many students, sir, I just got intimidated by the examiner. I'm like, why? They are there to serve you. You're paying them the fee. They are making money out of it to test your proficiency. They have to be good to you. They are examiners, so they will test in their own ways, but you don't have to be intimidated. You are the PIC, you need to have that confidence. What do you think? Who's more confident with respect to a PIC and ATC? I think although everything is equal, the responsibility is more with PIC. It's always give and take over here. So they will check you. If no HF on board, will it just apply to cell call? It's such a common thing. Nobody will say, no, sir, not just cell call. It will always be with respect to all HF calls. No HF calls will be possible. But because we are acting students and where we think that, oh, we have made mistakes, oh, we are doing something wrong. So we are critical of ourselves. Why? Why are we critical of ourselves? This happens with a lot of students. Why are we so negative? Why are we so sorry for ourselves? Why? Have we not studied? Why do we think we are lesser than anyone? Is there an answer? Can anyone tell me why would you think as a student you are not capable of getting the RT license? Why? If you don't have that confidence in you, it will reflect in your calls. When it reflects in your calls, even though you know your correct answers, you feel whatever you know is incorrect and you cannot give the correct answer even after knowing everything. And when you cannot give correct answer, how will you get the results that you need? This is one of the main reasons why students don't clear RT exams. But who would believe me? Why would you believe me? Right? Some of you all will be like, "Arey sir ka to kya hai sir? 15 minute ऐसे ही बोलते रहते हैं बस." Why would you believe me? But those who believe me, they are amongst the 80% of my students who clear in their first attempts. It's just that they don't want you to have their numbers. But their pictures are there. We post their pictures here and there. We collect the pictures for the wall of fame. So you be careful. You be confident. Do the right thing. If you panic, you miss out on what is right. Panic is fine, but it doesn't approve you doing mistakes. Manan, what's the route number and chart number? Nagpur to Hyderabad. Who can tell me what's the route number and chart number?
So chart number 4, Whiskey 27.
Jyotsna, confirm.
So chart number 5, Whiskey 999, then Whiskey 20.
Zanvi, confirm which one to choose, chart number 4 or 5. Students, if you don't reply in 5 minutes or 10 seconds, if you don't even say standby or negative, if you don't know the answer, then you're not ready for the exam. Then don't go. Prepare and go. It's a master class. It's not your first session. At least you all should know this much. If somebody's talking to you, you should reply, right?
Sir, can you read me?
I want proper RT procedures with respect to this question also, Zanvi. You have to talk to the other person and explain whatever it is. You cannot be quiet. Sridhar, tell me.
Sir, chart number 5 and routes are Whiskey 9er and Whiskey 20.
Jyotsna, is it matching with your chart?
Affirm, sir.
Oh, sir, तुम क्या ले रहे हो?
Sir, with chart number 4 also have such same route, lekin sir, it is mentioned differently. It is mentioned Whiskey 27.
तुम chart number 5 देखो.
Yeah, sir, I'm seeing this. So in chart number 5, Nagpur to Hyderabad, sir, is Whiskey 999er, and whiskey 20.
Pritam, what's your point of view here?
So I guess in chart number 4 there is something of confusion because whiskey 27 there is a 2 road which is the same what how I'm supposed to say the call sign like whiskey 27. So I'll go with chart number 5. Nagpur to Hyderabad, whiskey 999 and whiskey 20.
Let's take chart number 5. Anything that is given to you in your flight plan, you have to take it. But as a pilot, you would be filing it by yourself, or your dispatch office would be doing it if you're flying for an airline. So you would already know these things. Plus, you would be given these things in your briefings. Whoever doesn't know what briefings are, put it in a parking lot and share it with me. Okay? Because we have done a session on briefings, and if you have not covered it, then let me know. Chart 5. Who said send me chart 5 also quickly? Like I've shared chart 4. Students, I want you all to go through the updated location designators. If you have that just picture of some text-based location designators from previous notes, then you can request for the updated ones. Although existing students have already shared it all the other day, but some new students, you might be getting it as you reach the higher end of the lectures task. So anyone who from the old batch also, like not old, like seniors also, if you don't have that, what I'm asking you to have, then let me know. It's just new. Okay, good. So now, okay, one more question. Can one route have multiple names with respect to what we see on the charts? Can one route have multiple names with respect to what we see on the charts? Gulshan?
Affirm, sir. Victor Tango Golf Sierra November.
So chances are there are multiple routes going through the same point, same line. So on the chart, there will be different names given to those similar routes. So we can say one route can have multiple charts, but in short, they are all different routes. They're all coincident with each other. Okay, remember to explain it like this. Otherwise, when we say one route will have multiple names, it is very difficult for someone to say, how will you know which name to use when? So you can say there are times when different routes go through the same point. They're coincident with each other. Just like people who travel from Mumbai to Pune, they know there's an expressway, there is a national highway. But when you're crossing the mountains, the expressway and the national highway merge into one only for some time. Because there was no other space to build that road. Exactly like that. So there must be many more areas like that. So that is why you see. So with respect to Preetham saying there is a confusion or a glitch, might not be. Maybe there are two routes passing from the same area. In one of the charts it's named one, in other chart it's named other. Probably some other chart will see multiple names written there. Probably we should keep an open mind. Prerit, once you reach ahead, you will get it. So I don't know. Students who don't have it also report your RT task wherever you are on the task. That way we will know why you have not got it. I hope these explanations are there in your minds right now. What I'm saying right now. Question number 2 with respect to this. Okay. Write down. Everybody draft this paper, okay? Scheduled aircraft, standard equipment on board, wake turbulence, moderate. I will be for IFR, okay? Time of departure, alternate write down. No alternate specified. Okay. Write down route. Write down cruising altitude. Is there any element missing in the flight plan? Cross check with respect to the exam. There could be a couple of more points added in the exam in your flight plan. Do not worry. If you have mastered iCAO flight plan, then be just aware. Anything from the iCAO flight plan could be added more in your flight plan. It could be speed also, number of aircrafts also. So do not be confused anymore. And if you have not mastered iCAO flight plan, then do it. So as a cross-check list, I will need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2. I still don't have 1. What do I not have? Call sign?
Aircraft call sign.
Yes, very good. My aircraft identification. And you really need to be careful about what terms are used in your iCAO flight plan with respect to these names. It's not call sign, it's identification only, I guess. Cross check always. Be very aware with what is realistic. It could be used anywhere and they could ask these things to you in your Viva. And if you say aircraft call sign and if they see it's not call sign, if it's aircraft identification, then they will cross out. They'll not give you the correct mark. Even though you're giving a correct answer, you're not giving a correct answer. You need to be very thorough with what it is. That's why we emphasize on what we have to emphasize on. These things are where it matters the most, clearing your RT. Remember this, okay? I'll take this call sign now. Because there are 4 questions, time is 20 minutes. Okay? Instructions, write down. Exam instructions, you will write down number 1. All questions need to be answered until the time you're told to go to the next question. All questions need to be answered in sequence. Okay. Use of RT words and phrases is mandatory. Use of RT standard words and phraseology is mandatory. Listen to it. Try to remember. Fourth, use of radials and DME, although hypothetical, is required. Fifth, whenever a call needs to be transmitted as a specific time, correction, whenever a call needs to be transmitted at a specific time, the time has to be written against the call at the beginning of the call. So you have to continue answering a question until you are told to go to the next question. Second, you have to answer all questions in sequence. In bracket, you write, do not skip any question, be watchful. Many of my smart students, they skip one question. So here you see in this question paper, this question number 3, Alpha and Bravo. Many students will skip Bravo. I don't know why. I don't know what rush they have. Rush to finish a paper by doing incorrect things. Can you finish your flight by not flying as per the rules? Think about it. Missing out a question is like you as a pilot saying, if your cruising altitude is 300, you as a pilot say, no, 300 is too far away. I want to reach destination sooner. I'll only fly at flight level 100. Will you be allowed to do that? Will it be safe for you to do that? So if you miss out on a question, it means you would miss out on a lot of instructions given to you as a pilot. So why would they give you the RT license? So what's the rush? You've been given 25 minutes, you take 25 minutes. If there is a delay, if you don't finish the paper, it's fine. Focus on quality. Third was use of radio, use of standard RT words and phraseology is mandatory. Standard words and phrases, rules of the air. If you have not done standard words and phrases in any of your sessions, keep it in the parking lot. Let me know. After that, use of radial DME is must, can be hypothetical. I would say go with the accurate versions only. What we have learned. And last would be, if any call requires to be transmitted at a specific time, that time needs to be written down against that call in the beginning. Make it a habit. If you write that time, and then after that in your call, you don't mention time, just estimates, the ATC can check this was your present time and these are your estimates. This is why they give you the instruction. Nobody follows this instruction. You have to follow these. Done. Now we have this question paper. So who's on the hit list to do the calls? Jyotsna is already doing question number 1. We know that. I might change it, might not change it. The people who are in the list. Okay. It will be Jyotsna. It will be Usaid. It will be Zanvi. It will be Rani. It will be Preetham. It will be Vignesh. It will be Sajal. It will be Siddharth. Other students are not there, who were on the hit list. I'm just saying hit list, nobody's gonna hit you, huh? Call list, let's say call list. Let's call it manifest. So we will set the timer to 20 minutes, everyone, 20 minutes. In the exams, you will not be allowed to have a watch. So for now, you can practice and do it. You can keep it so you understand how much is a span of 5 minutes when you're performing. Any questions in understanding the paper? Have you all done that? What is the meaning of this? Have you all checked your chart, verified everything? Have you done the tracking? If not, do it. The moment you handed over the paper, your examiner might tell you to go to the next question. Correction. The examiner might tell you to start transmitting. You take your time. Understand the paper, understand the question paper. Many a times mistakes are made when you miss out on a few elements in the flight plan. Why to do that? Think about it. It's like you're going out and you're forgetting your wallet. It happens in a very rare case, right, students? Very rare cases. It doesn't happen every day. In aviation, we cannot allow you to have that kind of error even once. This is what aviation demands, students. This is not what I am demanding. Sometimes I've seen many students think it's just me asking it and you choose not to do it. The students, I'm your instructor who is an aviator over here, who understands aviation to the blood and the bone. Okay, I'm not just somebody who just flies for an airline or would want to fly for an airline. Never. Somebody who understands the whole ecosystem to the core. And every day I learn more on that. So you have to take these advices for your own benefit. Still, if you're focused on अरे मेरा question paper bank किसी ने दिया है वो मेरा बाकी है रटना बाकी है, do that over and above what I'm saying. If still, because I will never try to clip your wings. Do whatever you want. Do. Even if you want to go and jump in a well, I'll just say you jumping in a well is not going to be productive for you. But I don't mind if that's your choice, you do it. It's not my job to stop you from what you are going to go through. Our job is to guide you, train you, right? So we do that. And then we give you the freedom. But that freedom is being misused in many places. But then you will be responsible for that. Because we don't like cutting our freedom. We will never do that. So we give you flexibility on all. Just today, so I'm not saying it is, but when I said that there will be live calls, I see a few people have not joined it. Why? Because they're scared. They don't want to perform live. And this is an issue. If they will not do live calls, how will they know what they are lacking and how will they improve? But they are not understanding this. I don't know why. How can I force an adult? I cannot manipulate, right? So you be very careful, okay? You learn what you have to learn and keep me in the loop. And if you want some discussions, then be open and say, sir, I'm doing this, but you said it's not gonna be. So what do? I feel so share and talk, and we'll share and talk, and we'll tell you how the best thing would go about it. That's how it's supposed to be, the training period. It should be a good discussion. It's like a briefing, everyday briefing. When you'll go as a pilot to fly, you won't directly get into the aircraft, students. You'll be getting into a office setup, very professional. There is a smell to it, a very professional smell to it. Your co-pilot would be seated somewhere on a desk like this, and then your seniors would come, seniors in the way that they would be briefing you about the whole plan, about the flight plan, about NOTAMs, about anything that is new and old. You'll have to go through the entire briefing, the METAR and this and that. There would be so many things given to you. Your main focus is that. Why do you think some pilots are always rushing on the airport? Maybe because they took some extra time to go through the briefing. Maybe that's why. They're not always purposely late or unnecessarily late. They're never late, generally, I would say. But why do we see them rushing always? Because they're on a mission. You don't see any pilot who's going to depart casually walking, talking to friends, hey, hi, hey, hi. We rarely see that. We see that on their arrival. We don't see that on their departure. Why? Because we need that focus. That rush, disciplined rush doesn't mean you'll make mistakes. Taking you by surprise. The surprise element is another factor many of people do not clear an exam like RT. Lack of preparation or inappropriate preparation plus element of surprise will completely remove your chances of clearing. Good preparation and lack of good preparation and this element of surprise can deflect your chances of succeeding by a narrow margin. You have to be prepared for this element of surprise. No textbook is going to teach you this. It's just experience that can teach you this. Element of surprise would be with respect to chart that you don't understand, flight plan that you don't understand, location designators that you don't understand, questions that you don't understand, or something else altogether, like I did today. No greetings, nothing, start with a call, spotted a couple of mistakes, element of surprise. But I must say, Jyotsna, you handled it very well. This is all we are supposed to do. But no dead air. That is one thing that we have to learn. No dead air. If I'm asking someone something, if I don't get response within 5 to 10 seconds, we will lose respect for you in an aviation setting. If we know you're not doing it purposely, in real setting, if somebody doesn't reply, we feel that probably there's a comm failure or maybe the aircraft is in some emergency. But if it is due to the ignorance of the pilot, then it's an issue. So we raise the station again and check. In our class, most of the times we will know you're not doing it on purpose, or maybe you have some issues. So you need to explain that clearly once you're back. Do not be afraid. If somebody is scolding you and it was not your fault, talk back nicely with respect. Say, I'm extremely sorry for that, but I had a comm system issue and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you read? I hope it's fine now. Like that. You have to stand for yourself. But you cannot disrespect anyone, of course. But you need to know you have to stand for yourself there. If you're not wrong, if there's some issue, so that the communication is shared and the other person is also on the same page with you. Okay. The same could happen with you in the examination. The examiner might unnecessarily be, and you must be, it's not your fault. Excuse me, sir, very sorry. But there's some issue in the microphone. If you could get it replaced or give me some time to fix it. You have to talk. You have to stand and say, it's not working. Please check. But can you do that? Nobody does that. Why? Have you not paid them the fee? Always think about it. Don't talk to them in these words. But you think about it. Try to talk for yourself. One of my very young students, he was so good with his calls. He used to finish his quality calls in 15 minutes. He had that clarity. 15 minutes, no matter what paper I give him. He went to his exam. He came back. He was very sad. And this is many years ago. I asked him what happened. He didn't answer for a couple of days, 3 days, 4 days. I'm like, okay, some students take that much of time. I realized he might not have cleared it, but I wanted to hear what happened. And then he says, sir, my examiner, he was sleeping all the time. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, sir, I gave my call and I didn't get any response. I tried all the RCF procedures. I didn't get any response. I looked back. I saw he was sleeping. So I woke him up, sir. And then he just woke up, said, go to next question. Sir, he didn't write anything that I said. I went to the next question. I wrote the next question. Again, no response. Again, I woke him up. He just said, go to the next question. Now, I will believe a student's word. I believed in the student's performance. You know, that student got so demotivated. He said, sir, I never want to do this again. I won't go. I won't do. What to do now? I said, you could have stood up. You could have said, he said, sir, after my exam, I was trying to talk to people. Nobody listened. Nobody entertained. Who would have thought, I would have never guessed something like this would have happened unless I would have experienced it by myself or I get to hear that from a student. But can I really believe every student? I cannot believe that anymore because many students try to cover their tracks by putting it across. There are many such smart students, over smart students that say like that. So it was not my fault. Everybody was troubled. This is happening, that is happening. What I'm trying to say here is that you need to have this confidence and sense of responsibility. And I need to see that in your calls right now. It all starts with one error, or it all starts with the first perfection that you're looking in the first call. And that begins with understanding the situation carefully. It's all about that. Now, our elements in our calls are with respect to call signs, our position, and our purpose. We try to use, this in all our calls. So with respect to pre-flight check, it's a pre-flight check, not a readability check, not a radio check. The word pre-flight would mean it's a mandatory check. If successful, will help you go ahead with your planned departure. So for a pre-flight check, you can tell your position. What would be your position? It would be on ground, parked at some parking bay. So you have to give that position along with the call. That's why the ATC was asking in that call, because I am not sure where you're parked. So I need that position, and I don't really I'm not sure. I don't have, or I have to confirm what time you're planning to depart. So it's a continuation. So I need to know what will happen after pre-flight check. After pre-flight check, I'm going to ask for pushback and startup. After push and start, I'm going to ask for taxi. After taxi, I'm going to go to the runway holding point, request permission to enter runway. After entering runway, I'm going to request for takeoff. Before takeoff, from pre-flight check, anytime I'll need to monitor ATIS. If I don't have ATIS, then DATIS. If I don't have DATIS, then voice ATIS. There are three terms. Generally, ATIS is voice-based only. DATIS is digital. And I need to obtain ATC clearance if standard instrument departure is not there. If I don't have ATIS at my airport, I have to request from tower. Request ATC information. Ground could also be able to give you. You can check with both. Generally, tower should give that to you. If tower is busy, probably ground can give that to you. Obtaining ATC information. ATC information is similar to what you get over ATIS. That is the present aerodrome information, we call it. The weather report will be METAR. It would be given to you pre-flight only in the briefings. This is aerodrome information. That is mandatory. Either if DATIS exists, then observe from DATIS. If not DATIS, then request from ATC, obtain ATC information. ATC information. If you're not aware if that comes in the examination, so what is ATC information? I don't know how to take the call. And ATC clearance if you don't have standard instrument departure. ATC clearance is the instructions given to you after your departure till the point from where you will resume your normal navigation. That clearance can vary from time of day and night and weather elements. So you need that real time. Every professional pilot knows this. Any airport, wherever you go, if a standard instrument departure is not given to you, you have to request for ATC clearance. That can happen anytime. Many of the pilots, they try to take it once. If there's language barrier, if they don't understand when they're in some other place, they'll say, okay, fine, let's just keep taxiing, let's just line up. And then they'll try to ask again the ATC clearance. They'll note the ATC clearance. Only after that, they'll enter runway. If after entering runway also you don't have ATC clearance, request. Only after that you can take off. Why can you not take off without ATC clearance? Because you don't know what to do after takeoff. And that's the most critical aspect. Now, can you talk to a ATC during takeoff? No, you cannot talk. It's not allowed. It's one of the rules in RT that after request takeoff is taken, nobody is going to talk to the pilot up to a certain point. Neither is the pilot supposed to do it because they're going through a lot of cross check, a list basically. And they'll only go there after a certain point in time. Once they reach a certain point in time, only then they can talk to the ATC, or if there is an emergency, that they'll talk to the ATC. So that was their last chance to take ATC clearance. If you request for ATC clearance, but your communication is not clear, and you just go ahead with that, wrong communication, if you take wrong diversions, you will be increasing the chances of accidents. Diversions as in wrong maneuvers. Now, this logic you need to know and apply when you are taking RT calls. It could be helpful to you anywhere, students. So just don't go into question answer anymore. You could be asked any situation starting from pre-flight checks till landing. Anything could be asked to you, whether you have studied it or not. You need to know the basic things, the daily things that the pilot goes through in sequence. And have we not learned the sequence of flight, actual sequences? If not, go through that session again. You have access to the same lectures for you to revisit. Note which lectures to revisit if you don't want to revisit everything. If you need special sessions, again, you can say that as a request, sir, I would like to have a new session on particular topics. Is it possible? Do what it takes, but it should be in tandem with these terms. This is the key to clearing RT. In the most easiest and the correct way, students. This is the right way to do it. You've done the hard work, you're doing the hard work. Now it is this practice. You have to experience 2 to 3 years of professional pilot's life to be able to do what you're doing right now. So it's not easy. But when you have some excellency doing it for you, you gain that excellency. So after ATC clearance, I'm going to climb, request climb, further climb till I reach my top of climb, right? So it's climb, requesting climb. You should be very comfortable with how to request climb and how to report level changes. That is where you're going to get major marks. And we are not talking about what the situation could be. Situation could be anything. It could be returning back. It could be flap stuck. It could be passenger sick. It could be bomb threat. But how does that is just one aspect. Why? But where you'll be marked correctly, assessed correctly is the whole procedure. How you're requesting things, how you're requesting to deviate or divert, turn, climb, descend. That is where your main quality of your performance is assessed. And any clearance given to you, readbacks, ending with call signs, those things are only the major things that will help you pass. First, master them. Once you have mastered them, after that, it's only a matter of looking at an intent for a situation. You know an intent, you know how you have already mastered everything. Only if you look at an intent, you will know, okay, this question, this intent, this question, this intent. Then you can read thousands of questions just to get an intent. I don't mind. Only then, but just for the intent. But here we show you how to intent also, any situation given to you. So then what happens when you reach top of climb? You will cruise. You could get bad weather warning. You could get RCF. You could get air prox. You could get any situation in the air that you have learned, maybe not learned. But your mission will be the same, right? Either go to the destination or look for an alternate or departure. It means you'll have to descend. You know the rules. Just do that. Your ultimate goal, what is your goal? Your goal is to just figure out what to do? No. Your goal is to land the aircraft quickly in terms of, in cases of emergency. Do wherever you do. Here you don't have an alternate specified. You check. You check your route, check your present position, see which is the nearest aerodrome. Check with ATC if that aerodrome can take you. Tell I would like to take an emergency. I would like to make an emergency landing there. Setting course for that. They'll tell you whether it's available or not. At least you have taken a decision. You'll do that when you're sensing a extreme failure is going to happen, or maybe a medical emergency. So your ultimate outcome is going to be the same, students, no matter what the situation is. Just because you have not done the situation doesn't mean you cannot come up with a solution, because the solution is always in the same direction: safety of the aircraft and its passengers. In exams, what is mattering is not what you do, it's about how you are talking about that thing that you're proposing to do. That is where examiners are checking you. Again and again, I'm emphasizing on that. and some situational awareness. After that, request descent, top of descent. Step by step, you will take descent. Join the ATC circuit. Finals. Land. Taxi back to apron. Park the aircraft. Shut off the engines. Done. This logical sense you cannot afford to not remind yourself on a daily basis from now till the day you give exams. Everything will be centered around this. No matter what is asked to you, you should relate it with, if you don't know, then you should relate it with these things and you will know what to do. Now, looking at this question paper, estimated time of departure 1905, 7.5, 7 p.m., 5 minutes, 7 hours, 5 minutes in the evening. Here, I'm just doing a pre-flight check. Okay. We should know. Here, generally, students who are mugging up, they would just do it on HF, VHF, both, or VHF, HF, whatever they have mugged up. But here, other information says no HF on board. So we cannot do any HF calls over here. So cell call check will also not happen, just like Jyotna said. Once this call is done, if they say go to the next question, we'll go to question number 2. Question number 2 says during taxi. So did you ask for taxi? No. Why are they giving you? It's in the sequence. Remember what I said. They can ask you any situation from the sequence anywhere. So you should know the sequence first, which you have been taught. So now you understand that, okay, a taxi clearance was given to me. But do you know the taxiway? No. So how will you choose your taxiway? Hypothetical. You will have to come up with your own taxiway now. So that is something you'll have to assume. Cabin crew informs a passenger suffering heart attack. You all know it could be pan-pan, but then we realize that pan-pan medical is in air. On ground, it's a normal call. What would you do? You would want to go taxi back at apron. So you'll request instructions, expeditious handling to offload the passenger for medical assistance, and you'll request for a doctor and you'll describe the passenger and his or her condition, age also. So they know if we need a pediatrician or if we need a normal doctor. And once that passenger is offloaded, you might be required to take this call continuously till the time the passenger has been taken care of, sent to the ambulance. And then maybe just if one passenger is gone, then you'll have to say, request startup again, request pushback, taxi, and revise passenger on board in that case, if your startup call is also going on. In the question, they are not asking you for a startup call. But your examiner might want you to continue and not ask you to go to the next question. So there you have to understand your revised passenger on board would be a key for situation awareness. And your actual time of departure is clearly mentioned in the question 1235. It means it took you approximate 30 minutes to get the passenger done. And you were able to depart at 1935, 30 minutes delay for you. In these cases, your FIC could be expired, ADC could be expired, calls could also come. Now, the situational awareness I need to have. But here they are not mentioning that. It's just that we have to give revised estimates and revised ETA in our calls by ourselves. So if you're doing any position report calls where you're giving estimates, whenever you're saying ETA, you can say revised ETA. Just the word revised is enough. But your timing would be with respect to 1935 now. Then we get a question number 3, alpha. Bravo. We make sure we don't skip anything. You are airborne. Airborne means you're taken off, and that is the first point where you're going to talk to ATC now. Something like that. You're airborne, it means you're still maintaining the runway heading. You might be passing a few thousand feet for some flight level. You cannot instantly say, I'm just passing 5,000 feet for flight level 300. It will be too high. You will have some sort of ADC clearance. So here also you'll have to determine your position. How will you determine your position here? You are airborne. It means liftoff successful. In our terms, takeoff successful. We'll have to give some idea. They have said you're passing flight level 150. It means we have had some good climb already. Okay. 150, I'm already passing. I'm passing, I'm not at 150. It means I'm climbing through some level, from some level to some other level. I'm just passing through 150. And while passing through this, for that, what that you can assume here, if it was not given to you in any of your clearances, which we see might not be. Depends what the replies would be. So here, determining your position with respect to levels will also include your radial and DME with respect to your, probably your departure aerodrome, that could be Nagpur. You'll obviously be on a route. Hydraulics are sluggish. What would you do? You would say, I would not like to climb further ahead, would like to return back and land, is what you would want to do. So in this case, it would be hydraulics are sluggish, would like to return back to Nagpur, request instructions to descend to flight level 15, or request instructions to maintain flight level 15, whatever you think is going to be helpful to you. Or you could just say passing flight level 150 for flight level 200, request instructions to set course and immediate descent. And you could just give a couple of estimates that you think you would be doing to go and land back. Even though you read question number Bravo, they say your hydraulics are working fine. Question number Alpha, you have to make that call. And you know, hydraulic sluggish is a pan call. So you say, I would like to do this. The examiner in this case might give you clearance for readback check to see your ability to read back, or say, go to the next question. Go to the next question says that your hydraulics are working fine. In exams, they could give you a very designer question with a lot of sentences. You decide to proceed as per normal navigation, take action, take call. This meaning here in short is also the same. If your hydraulics are working fine, you say would like to proceed normal navigation, request climb to that, follow climb procedures, give estimates and revise estimates, and get the clearance done. Where you were in that call from there, which call third A. And then your hydraulics are working fine, so you'll resume normal navigation. Probably you'll have a couple of 5 minutes more delay over here. You don't know how much time you realized, but it was quick, we can say. You cross-check everything and you confirm that everything is fine. As a pilot, I would still think that if something went wrong once, it could go wrong again. And if my instincts and if my training tells me that you should land back and get it checked, then I would prefer to do that if I'm in closer proximity with Nagpur, because life safety first. But with respect to these, you are requested to proceed only. So you cannot break that in the examination. This is what they are giving you. So this will be a cancel pan. Some places cancel pan is directly starting with cancel pan. You can stick with pan, cancel pan. Nagpur control, India 123 or Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo in this case. Cancel pan. Hydraulics working normal. All checks successful. Would like to proceed to destination as per normal navigation. Present position, so and so radial DME flight level. Request instructions to set course and climb to this flight level. Estimating this, revise ETA this, request clearance. In the end, you can just say request clearance as a common term if you need a clearance for something that you have proposed. Here, they might give you instructions or they might say go to the next question with respect to exams. Be on the alert. If they say go to the next question directly, you jump to the next question, you see, okay, now I'm directly in the airspace CTR on the CTR of Hyderabad. How do I know? Check the chart. 50 DME inbound Hyderabad. It's the radius of the CTR. They say you failed to take ATC information. Oh, I've never solved it. What to do? But sir did say ATC information is the aerodrome information. I can get it on ATIS. Check. Does Hyderabad have ATIS? No. It means you would need to request. So what to do? It's a very simple call. But where you see the word fail, you might get, oh my God, something is going to go wrong. So here I would say, whatever ATC have, probably Hyderabad Tower in this case. Hyderabad Tower, Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, 50 DME inbound Hyderabad. So and so route. Passing flight level 70 for flight level 50. Radial so and so. revised ATA Hyderabad so and so. Request ATC information. That's it. Request ATC information. So they will know that, okay, you still want to know the aircraft, the aerodrome information. They'll give it to you. As per that, you'll verify, yeah, everything is going as per the plan. Or if something changes, then you can tell your plan to the ATC in real time with respect to what you had prepared for and what they are saying now. Here, you'll assume that everything is going fine. They might tell you, if they hear this, they might tell you some other runway, but that is not going to happen because nothing else is given to you here. So with respect to this examination, once you take ATC information, if they give you, just give them a read back and you're done. They'll say, go to the next question and go to question number 5. Question number 5 could be fill in the blanks, could be name the following, or could be just normal statements given to you and you would be asked to transmit that in RT. Something that you learn when you're doing phrases or when you study phrases. So that's how you solve a paper. That's how you understand how to solve a paper. And you get this confidence when you have confidence with respect to your essentials of radio telephony: words, phrases, rules for readback, rules for correction, rules for repetition, rules for call sign, rules for time, rules for certain rules of the air that you learn. So there's a booklet shared with everyone for rules of the air. You should give it a read twice. When you read it to understand, to gain knowledge, not to mug up. Cannot mug up rules of the air. So we are open to discussion now. Share your thoughts before we solve the paper. What do you think? Soak everything in, I said. Think. See if you have anything to talk about. See if you have any doubts. Think. I'm waiting for you all to have discussions. This is just thinking, soaking in, and discussing time. Okay. I'm just going on mute. It doesn't mean I'm busy. I'm just waiting for someone to talk or discuss. We're going to do this 5-10 minutes. I'm hoping you're revising your notes, going through your notes, or just thinking what I said, studying the paper, or don't need instructions now. The instruction is to think, soak everything in, understand. And if you have any doubts or points of discussion, if you want to share something, you have to do it. Ritam, share your thoughts.
Yes, I'm just revising everything. Victor Tango Delta for Sierra.
What is yes? I don't understand.
Correction, I found, sir. Victor Tango Delta for Sierra.
Karishma, how do you feel? Do you understand these things?
Affirm, sir.
How about you, Sajal?
Affirm, sir. I have solved the paper.
My question is something else. My question is, what are your thoughts about it? Did you understand what I said?
Right. Affirm, sir. I understood.
Give me a brief.
So I basically understood all the points which you said in the previous time.
I need some specific values of the points, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. Sir, for example, in answer number 2, we can request for appropriate doctor according to the age of a passenger, like is he too old or young? And for answer number 3, we'll make a pan call because their hydraulics are sluggish. So after that, we can request emergency landing to Nagpur and instructions to set course and immediate descent. Now hydraulics are working fine, so in that case, we can cancel the pan and resume as per normal navigation and give estimates and ETA. For answer number 4, we can contact Hyderabad TAR and say our flight level passing flight level 70 for flight level 50, give radial DME and request ATC information and give revised ETA.
How do you request for appropriate doctor? Do we make that in our call?
So
Give me
basically we say,
appropriate doctor. Do we say that? Give me appropriate doctor.
request necessary medical authorities on arrival.
Medical authorities.
Sir, medical services.
We determine the age and condition of the passenger. That's all we do. When we do that, it helps the controllers and the medical team to send us appropriate help. We just
Okay.
explain the age and the condition. You missed out on this important point that could lead to mistakes in your call.
Okay, sir.
If you go ahead with these new terms that you have made up, they are not RT terms. They will just, examiner will be like, what is this? This is over and above what you are supposed to do. And this is illogical. Authority is the wrong word to use here. Appropriate doctor, who are you to say? Do you think people that are hired to do it are not appropriate? See, students, learn what you have to learn. Be very careful with it. I'm not doing all this for time pass. It is all that is going to help you. I cannot emphasize more on this. No teacher in the world is going to invest so much of time in these lectures, especially in aviation. Nobody does that. And somebody is doing it. Why are you not taking it completely in? And why not verifying if you're not understanding something? Why you're going with the wrong thing? Vignesh, what are your thoughts?
Sir, I understood the question paper.
Sorry,
Question one
sorry,
is,
sorry to interrupt. Say again.
uh, it is a revision for me, sir. Question number one is fine, but as soon as I saw the question number two, I felt pan medical could be fine, but later I recognized that it's wrong, so that we can also opt for normal call. Then I felt
Also opt for, as in you have choices.
no, sir. We should opt for normal call because it is in ground. Then we could have also added the age of the passenger.
Also, or you have to. We can also, or we have to. See, now I'm not getting a response. 5 seconds. Not good.
So yeah, giving the age is an additional information. So it is good to give the data.
No,
The age of the okay.
no. It is not good to give. It is mandatory to give.
Roger, sir, Roger. Then, according to the third question, I understand that there is a delay and we need to tell the revised estimated time of arrival. But I wonder, is it necessary to tell the delay in each and every stages of the flight? Whether to say in the fourth call, I think, is it necessary or because I'm already near the destination?
Yeah, it's necessary.
Rajesh, Victor Tango Romeo Bravo.
Okay. Zanvi, share thoughts.
Sir, I understood all the questions. And yeah, that was when I first read the questions. I mean, what I thought was the correct answers. So, yeah.
Very good. I like the sound of it. How do you feel about the quality of a conversation with respect to what we're talking about? With respect to flight level changes, calls, readbacks, ending with call sign. When we know the correct call, we are almost there. Now, the final thing is our quality of conversation with respect to radio telephony usage. That's the last thing we need to fix, but that is the most important thing. We need to ensure that it's perfect. So, how do you feel about that?
So, all of those things will get better with practice, I think.
I can say you're confident, but you're saying, sir, the more I practice, the better. But I think, with respect to what I've seen in the past couple of days, you can have that confidence. With respect to this, what I will reply, what I would expect a reply would be that my calls are correct, and I'm going to ensure that my language is optimum. Do you
Yes,
understand?
sir, I'll try my best. That's a given.
I'll ensure it's perfect.
Yes, sir, I will.
See, this lack of confidence, maybe you think you need to do some more revision or maybe some more mocks. I don't know.
No,
But
sir,
I
I'll do
mean,
it perfectly.
I'll ensure it's perfect.
I'll ensure it.
See,
Yes.
students, it is not coming inherently, so it is okay. It will come. It has to come. We have to come to this point. It is there. You're there, Zanvi. I can sense it. You're almost there. Very good. I can feel it. And that is the greatest thing right now. We get to know it. When we are in aviation, we don't leave anything for chance to chance. You need to understand that, students. Many students don't realize this. For RT exams, if you realize these things, your results are guaranteed, students. Nobody can guarantee a result in exam. And those people who give you question papers, they cannot guarantee it. But these things, I'm telling you, it's guaranteed. I've seen that. Remember what I said earlier, yesterday? It all depends upon your own personal performance, your own personal preparation, your own personal understanding. The day you are prepared, you will clear. It's not a race. You're doing it for education. I know your ultimate goal is to get the RT license. But in all that, we forget, and nobody is actually trying to remind us also that we are doing it for the knowledge. We are here to learn radio telephony. Everybody thinks that मुझे RTR license चाहिए बस. Nobody says, sir, I want to learn RT. That is the biggest difference. Here we are trying to teach you RT. Nobody's trying to teach you RT. Everybody's trying to find their own path to help you get the license. And they think teaching is mandatory, but they don't really are able to teach properly. Not in my experience. What's on your mind, Preetham? Tell me.
So for question 4,
Mhm.
it says you failed to take ATC information. So as a PIC, can I assume that I received the ATC information, but there was something disturbance or something like that? So I have to request it again.
Yeah. Possibly that is one of the cases. Very good guess. Very good analysis, I would say. It was given to you, but you failed to note it down. Very nice. Perfect. Perfect
Yeah.
analysis. Very good. One of the possibilities could be this highly. Yeah. Seth, what's on your mind?
Sir, I'm confused on question number 4.
Mhm.
Sir, you are failed to take ATC information. Sir, ATC information is taken before startup on the ground to the tower. And sir, in flight, how? Sir, I'm little confused.
उसेद सिर्फ टेक ऑफ ही हमारा मिशन है कि लैंडिंग भी हमारा मिशन है?
Sir, I have not done, sir, related to landing. Any questions?
बाइक चलाते हो तुम?
Yeah, sir.
तो बाइक को सिर्फ पिकअप लेना जरूरी है कि स्टॉप करके स्टैंड पे रखना भी जरूरी है? जहां भी जाते हो आप, एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जाते हो, राइट?
Yes, sir.
अब वो दूसरी जगह का एड्रेस पता होता है ना हमें, और कौन सी रोड जाती है और कहाँ पार्क करना है वो भी पता होता है ना. कई बार गलत नो पार्किंग में रख देते तो कितना बड़ा इश्यू हो जाता है. गाड़ी उठा के कोई ले गया तो हमारी, फिर चोरी हो गई तो 2 बड़े मेजर केसेस होते हैं नई जगह पे जाते हो तो. तीसरा मेजर केस हो सकता है कि आप कहीं कीचड़ में ना चली जाए, बाइक फंस जाएगी आपकी. बाइक्स में इतनी दिक्कत नहीं होती, कार्स में कई बार होती है. रिमोट एरिया में चले जाओ, कार फंस गई आपकी, निकाल नहीं पाओगे. आपको पता होना चाहिए डेस्टिनेशन का वेदर, एरोड्रोम इंफॉर्मेशन पता होनी चाहिए. एरोड्रोम क्या कर रहा है, एरोड्रोम में कौन सा रनवे, विच रनवे ऑफ द एरोड्रोम इज यूज्ड फॉर लैंडिंग, if everything is safe, if the landing surface of the runway is clean, are there any restrictions? What are the winds? What is the pressure setting? What is the cloud height? Is there any thunderstorm activity in the vicinity? Don't you think it's important for the pilot to know this for the landing aerodrome also before the pilot is making the final call to land or not, when they are in so close proximity? Where is the aircraft now? Look at the chart. 50 DME inbound. It is in the tower area only now. So what is the pilot going to do now? It is going to go and prepare for landing only, right? Yes or no?
Affirm, sir. Victor Tango inform, sir. Delta.
So don't you think I need ATC information for landing also?
Yeah, sir.
So this is why we need ATC information before departure and before landing. Students have said this many times. I'm saying this again. ATIS information, DATIS information, ATC information. You need pre-departure, pre-landing. Both are important equally. ATIS, DATIS, you don't just monitor during departure. You monitor it before landing also. That airport will change. So for that airport, the frequency will change. So for that frequency. Here, Hyderabad doesn't have ATIS. Look at it carefully. Students, situational awareness. So we need that ATC information from the pilot. The pilot needs it from the ATC. Here we are assuming it was taken, but we could not note it down. We failed to take it. So we will request it again. Simple. We don't even have to say, I failed it and all. Simply take it again. It's okay. Does that clear your doubt, Usad?
Affirm, sir.
So this here, when with respect to Said's question, I'm saying generally it happens with a lot of people. It can happen with me also. Just because I've learned one thing in one place, I think that is the only true thing. It happens with a lot of us, especially engineering students go through with this issue a lot when they are trying to learn RT. This is a common issue with engineering students. They are unable to take the same answer for another question. That's why I say your situational awareness is important. And even after me saying a lot of things, your mind is unable to learn the new thing that I'm giving you. You stick with that old learning because you're good students from wherever you have come. That's why it happens. So that's why I say unlearning is also as important as learning when you're learning something. It might sound philosophical, but you are in good hands, students. So please, this logic I'm trying to induce in Usaid and everyone to come up with such doubts by yourself in the long run. The day you come up with such resolutions, when you come across an explanation where it doesn't quite fit in with what you have learned, but then you try to understand and get the answer by yourself, understanding all that I've said is what is the purpose, ultimate purpose of any training. And this is what I always try is there in our training, and it happens, it builds up. It will build up automatically. It is building up. You are there. You might not even know, but you have to allow yourself to listen and understand. That's more important. Sushita, what's on your mind?
Sir, ATC information and ATC clearance are different, right? So, initially I got a little confused. I thought the PIC could not take the ATC clearance, and now he cannot comply with it because he is not having the ATC clearance. So, sir, they are different, right?
Yes, they are very different. Students, ATC information is aerodrome information. Okay. ATC clearance is your departure clearance. These are two specific things. Please make a note of it carefully. All right. Second thing is, in this situation, Suchita, what would have justified your understanding? Now, your understanding is completely opposite to what I need you to understand from the question. So let's study that. Why is that happening? Even if it says you failed to note ATC clearance, let's say if this is what the real situation was. Instead of ATC information, let's say you failed to take ATC clearance. Probably there you need some clearance for landing also in this case. Let's say, generally it's with respect to departure only. Here, two confusions happened. You thought during landing my ATC clearance, which is not existing, but here you could say that probably those clearances given by ATC for joining in a generic way. Then first take the clearance instead of assuming that I cannot comply. So what you're thinking now, I could not take it, so I'm not going to comply. So probably your call or your intent would be directed towards I'm unable to comply. If the exam question wants you to show that you are unable to comply, then it will be specified directly, students. It will be specified directly saying, show your inability to comply or you cannot comply. Only then. So here, even if you confuse it, first thing, even if you confuse it with ATC clearance, then the call would be Hyderabad Tower, Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, read you to, unable to note down ATC clearance, request ATC clearance. And just give a few points about your position in the call. It's not about compliance. So you're thinking about मिला नहीं तो मैं कैसे comply करूं? मिला नहीं तो पहले ले लो. Compliance उसके बाद सोचना है. This is a very good point you're discussing right now. Students, जो नहीं मिला है तो हम क्या सोच रहे हैं, अरे मैंने ये गलत ले लिया तो मेरे से गलती वहां पे होने वाली है. एविएशन में आप वैसे जंप नहीं करते हो. एविएशन में यू आर वेरी सिक्योर्ड. You are all a team. Nobody is going to pinpoint. As a student, you feel Whenever I give you an area of improvement or whenever I'm critical of your mistakes, you feel that I'm scolding you or I'm shouting at you. You beat yourself up saying, oh, I am incapable or I'm slow. It could be anything that you're going through your mind. That is not how you're supposed to feel. Supposed to feel like, okay. So I need to do it that way. I need to do it that way. Okay. You have to take it in a progressive way, in a productive way. So with respect to that, if we give you a situation where you fail something, so that fail word is very important over here. It is an allegation. The fail word is so big, some of us could take it in a very heavy way that, okay, it was my failure, my shortcoming. You're not allowed to do that in aviation. You're trained to not do that. These little things are evaluated in your psychoanalysis, psychometry tests, and your medicals. So you have to think, if you fail, then you succeed. How do you succeed? Who's going to give it to you? You cannot guess. You cannot be afraid of asking the ATC about the same thing. But our society, our families, our peers, everywhere we go, people are such that if you miss out on something, if you ask again, they will not be nice to you. They will scold you more and more and more. So maybe that's our conditioning somewhere. It can happen with some of us. In aviation, that is not the case. In aviation, even if you land safely after an emergency, there will be an inquiry. In the inquiry, even after you have saved everyone, if you have done something differently, you will be subject to investigation and short-term break, I would say, from work, which you would not want, but they would ask you to do it because they would want to figure out why this happened. Why did you do something differently? Who allowed you to do it? It is not your fault. It is a process. You have to abide by it. You have to say, okay, fine. I'll cooperate. You will not feel bad. To the world, it would seem that कैसी है यार ये दुनिया, पायलट ने बचा लिया सबको, फिर भी पायलट को परेशान कर रहे हैं. No, it's a process. You did something which you were not trained for. What if it would have resulted into a bigger loss? Is what they wanted to check. Why did you do it? And you have to feel like a team over there. Of course, they all know you have saved them, everyone. But still, we have to go there and check. So there you have to comply. You don't have to take it so personally. It's how the industry is. So here also we see that if I failed to do something, I'll just ask someone to help me verify it and give it to me, and I'll keep doing it unless I get it. That's what you're required to do. It happens with everyone. That's why we go ahead with the law. And the problem here is that you have not been taught human factors. Aviation training comprises a major chunk of human factor training also, but that only comes when you are working for an airline or a third party or someone. No institute is going to teach you human factors. I don't know why. But regulations has human factors if you go to look at it. So in that, here in this case, if I assume it's ATC clearance I have failed, then my understanding should be request ATC clearance. That's it. Don't have to say all those things. Similar to an example that I've given in past classes, a similar aspect that a question comes, you're on finals and your co-pilot has increased the throttle. Take action. This is such a trick situation. Ideally, let's say I am someone else and I give a call like this. Hyderabad Tower, Hyderabad Tower, Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, finals runway 32. Co-pilot has increased the throttle. Request necessary instructions. Now, as per a basic learning of RT, you're giving a clean call. You didn't know what to do when co-pilot increased thrust. So you follow the basic strategy that you learn that, okay, follow the protocol, request for necessary instructions and speak whatever is there in the question. But then you miss out that anything happens on finals, you're supposed to go around and initiate a missed approach procedure. So that has to come. So I have to look at the keywords. I'm on finals, but my attention is grabbed by what the co-pilot has done because something new and something that I might not have practiced. But still the call is not good. Let's say the second person, second me, it'll say Hyderabad Tower, Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, finals runway 32. Co-pilot has increased throttle, initiating missed approach and go around procedure. Better than before, because that's what you're supposed to do on finals. But what you're not supposed to do is say this: co-pilot increased throttles, increased throttle. You don't do that. You don't do that because there are maybe 50 people, 20 people, 100 people tuned to onto that particular frequency, listening to your call. If your co-pilot is incapacitated, has a medical issue, incapacitated means cannot fly the plane, could be, could have an attack, a seizure, faint, in the worst case scenario, anything could happen. Only then you would say co-pilot incapacitated. It will be a mayday call. Other than that, any mistake done by him or her, a mistake, not something that is unlawful, as in hijack or pointing a gun at you or something like that. And that again will be mayday. A normal mistake done, which had happened couple of years, where one aircraft, one airline, I now don't want to take names, everybody knows this, the aircraft skidded off like this on the runway after landing. Why? Because generally pilots, they hold both the throttle levers together and increase the thrust or decrease the thrust. This pilot didn't realize that this pilot only, was moving just one lever. So what happened during landing? Two aircrafts, one side of the engine had no thrust, other side had thrust. Pilot didn't realize during landing. They landed. What happened after landing? Because there was no thrust in one and there was thrust in one, the aircraft went like this, 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 and the engine sunk into the ground completely. We were fortunate enough that we didn't result into an accident. Such a silly mistake. Such kind of mistakes people do when they're learning to ride a bike. I've seen that. One of my uncles, 5 to 7-year-old only, when I got my first bike, he was the senior and he used to drive around and all. He was also learning. So I remember I was sitting behind him and it was Pulsar 150. It was very, very big and fast for that time. Now we have bigger bikes. So it was very heavy and the throttle was very smooth. It was like you do this and the bike would jump. And I still remember the feel, it was very beautiful. But what happened? We were turning and he could fall and he could not turn and we fell. And we fell in a way that the front wheel was blocked by a big boulder. But what happened? His hand was completely on the throttle like this, even when we fell. He didn't realize it. And the rear wheel was skidding, 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 skidding like this. Now, this is a beginner's mistake. Every second person who's learning bike has a similar accident like this. Sometimes one of my other friends who had just got his hands on a scooty, we all remember, we take it as a funny way. We were at a restaurant. He was on the footpath of the road and he was just there with his bike waiting for someone. And he didn't realize his hands were pulling the accelerator. He just, okay, main chalta hu. He just put the starter and his bike jumped and it hit a pole right there. He didn't realize. Luckily, nobody got injured, neither him nor the bike. One more time, the same thing happened with another friend. I remember these instances carefully because, like I said, I sense the blood and bone of aviation, and these human errors can happen in aviation. Similar to this is the error that happened with that pilot. I'm nobody to judge, but I know the cause. I know why that would have happened. And it all goes back to training. But DGCA must have issued a report. They issued and published it on DGCA website. See if the report is there or not. You'll get to know the findings. So in this case, if you get a call where on finals, your co-pilot has increased throttle, how do we talk about it? We understand the effect of the increased throttle. The effect is very important for us, not the cause right now. Because right now we need to land. The cause behind the effect would be verified by investigators. You have to just report it. It's not your job. You have to report it, and engineers and investigators would do it for you. So what do you do? What is the meaning of Copilot increased throttle on finals? It means your aircraft speed is more than the required speed for landing. It means you're overspeeding. You are faster than you need to be. It means you might overshoot the runway. You might skid off the runway. So it becomes high speed on finals. The situation comes down to you're experiencing high speed on finals. You don't need high speed. High speed means compared to your actual required airspeed, that is resolved to ground speed when you're landing, you are experiencing high speed. And when we're experiencing high speed on finals, sometimes it could be due to tailwinds also. Sometimes it could be due to your fuel air mixture being changing a little bit, density increasing probably. That is very rare to happen. It can also happen theoretically. And sometimes due to your throttle lever stuck or not, or maybe by mistake increasing the throttle. So although the reason was the co-pilot's mistake, you have to talk about the effect only. In your report, you will log it. Pilot defect report, whatever reports. Any missed approach will be subject to investigation anyway. So they will know. When they go through the flight data recorder, they will check your speed, ground speed during finals was supposed to be this. Why was it higher than this? So your actual call, what I would take would be Hyderabad Tower, Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, finals runway 32, passing 1,500 feet, experiencing high speed on finals, initiating missed approach and go around procedure, maintaining 1,500 feet, request further instructions. 1,500 feet I am adding in your arrival charts. There will be missed approach procedure also given to you if you're following a standard arrival procedure, STAR we call it. In this case, they have not told us we are following a standard arrival. So we can mention that, okay, I was at this altitude when I realized. Your minimum safe altitudes for every DME distance with respect to nautical miles will also be given to you. How? With respect to what is your circuit altitude? We call it minimum sector altitude over there then with respect to the ATC circuit. And then slowly, if you maintain the ground speed and if you maintain your glide path, then you'll automatically touch down on the runway threshold or the threshold wherever you're going to touch down. So the speeds could vary. Okay. It comes down to 300, 200 feet also before you can decide to carry out a missed approach. It doesn't necessarily have to be that high. So you can keep the altitude part aside. And for this call, you could make Hyderabad Tower, Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, finals, runway 32, experiencing high speed on finals, initiating missed approach and go around procedure. That much will be enough in this case. The fact that you are on finals tells us that you were clear to land. Every other information is given to the air traffic controller about you. So why am I using this example here? Because here the blame was for you. You failed to take ATC clearance. But we are not taking blame games in our calls anywhere. If your co-pilot would have failed to take ATC clearance or ATC information in this case, you would have just said same thing. Hyderabad Tower, Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, 30 DME, correction, 50 DME, outbound, correction, inbound, Hyderabad, flight level 50, request ATC clearance. Nothing else. Or ATC information in this case, not clearance, information. If they say any clearance is what you have missed out, any clearance given by ATC. In this case, that would mean any clearance given to us after 50 DME or how to die. So it doesn't really will mean that your departure clearance is only there. So why ATC clearance? Any clearance given by ATC clearance can mean clearance to you here then. So what will you say then? You will give them a reason. This is a technique, a strategy. The reason could be experiencing QRM. That is, you're experiencing interference. Read you 2. It means my readability is less. Say again. ATC clearance, or say again the last clearance, or say again clearance, or say again ATC information. So if I have to modify this call, if no reason is given, I could modify this question number 4 like this also. Hyderabad Tower, Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, 50 DME inbound Hyderabad, experiencing QRM, read you to say again ATC information. That can also be said to get more marks. A little extra, explaining the cause. Why? Like Preetham said, the cause could be my microphone is not working. But what is the effect? The effect is readability is reduced, or I'm hearing static. If it's static and all, you can say interference. Some other pilot is transmitting in between, you can say interference. QRM is that interference, some other pilot interfering on the same frequency when you're trying to talk or listen. So the same question could change to 50 DME inbound Hyderabad during ATC information. You hear some other pilot transmitting. It means you failed to take ATC information, but it's not your fault here. So here also the call would be the same. Hyderabad Tower, Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, 50 DME inbound Hyderabad, experiencing interference. Especially here I'll add because that's the keyword here, some of the pilot. Read you to say again ATC information. That's it. If you want them to repeat again, you say again. Okay, I hope everybody is following this. Any more points or doubts you want to discuss? Last chance to talk. Ushad, you want to do something?
या सर इसमें अगर हमें क्वेश्चन में नहीं दिया हुआ कि इंटरफेरेंस क्यूआरएम है और वगैरह है तो सर हम अपनी तरफ से अपने आप ही ले सकते हैं ना?
अगर आपको लगता है आपको एक्सप्लेन करना है कि आपने क्यों नहीं लिया तो आप बोल सकते हो यार, डेफिनेटली. Even in real time, okay, even in real time when ATC is giving you some clearance in the exam, and by your mistake in the exam, because you're panicking or you're not focused or you're looking at something else or you miss out what ATC says, this can happen with anyone. You don't say, sir, गलती हो गई, मैंने miss कर दिया, please वापस बताओ मुझे. He or she will not allow because you're in the span of those 25 minutes where you cannot change anything. What would you do? Let's say by your mistake, you miss out on something. What would you do? You'll be smart. You'll use RT. How? Let's say I've been given a clearance and I just lost track of it. And I know that if I ask for say again and all, it's not going to benefit me because I've not missed out any. I missed out everything. So what I can do clearly, Hyderabad Tower, Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, experiencing QRM, read you 1, say again all. Instead of just saying say again all, if I say read you 2, experiencing QRM, say again all, he or she, the examiner, will give you good marks over there. Because you are validating, you're giving a reason why you could not do it. It can happen in real time also. It doesn't really necessary. It's not really necessary. It should be only given to you in the examination question paper. It can happen in real time also, right? Today I'm getting a lot of static. I think somebody played with the instrument when I was not here. But I'm wondering who. Nobody's allowed. Instrument and then headset. But I am facing it. So don't you think you could also experience that? Examiner might not know. But you can at least mask your mistake there, use RT and recover from that mistake that you made by not noting down the clearance properly. So these are techniques where you use RT, cover up your tracks. But are you listening to these techniques? Are you going to use it or you're just looking for question paper answer, question paper answer? Choice is yours. Okay, so we are done for today. The calls that I'm going to do, I'm thinking we should do a better call tomorrow, but it's still 50-50. I will be, if you don't get an update, it means there is no live lecture for you tomorrow. If there is, then you will be informed individually, everyone, either on email or WhatsApp. So you just be on the lookout, or you can check with me if you want, but otherwise you go ahead with your own preparation for RT. And students, for MET, we are not giving you MET today. So you please enjoy your time with respect to preparing for RT thoroughly. Gather your doubts. Today's lecture should tell you what is remaining for you to learn and what not, and what do you need. And this weekend should be good, very well final prep for those students who have exams in Hyderabad and done with their training at least once or almost done. Okay. For them, it is very important. So you will be in sync with me continuously on chat, whatever you need, and I'll be also in sync with you. But you have to study that very carefully. Okay, so this afternoon also spend some time with RT and do that only. Right, just giving it to you. You've got this feeling that okay, let's just make sure this weekend is more focused on RT, because afterwards, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and then sixth, and then ninth, and then 11th, and then 12th, all your dates are there right head on the head. Once February starts, the panic would be very real. So let's make sure that we take as much as time we have right now for the first exam, which is our RT exam. I hope the instructions are clear. Students who don't have RT exams, who are free in the MET slot, please work out your pending tasks and thorough revisions, because I know there's a lot that you have to cover up. Siddharth, what's on your mind? Tell me.
So I have a small doubt in question number 4. So sir, so we are requesting ATC information, and ATC information has to be requested by the tower. Am I right, sir?
Not necessary. I just said a while ago, no?
Okay, sir.
Tower, ground, both can give it to you.
So basically, sir, Hyderabad has tower and area control.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we are at 50 nautical mile, and so, but like the height limitations in the tower area is up to flight level 100, and in the flight plan we are having the flight level as 300. So can we assume that we are at or below 100 because we are giving the call to the tower?
See, your flight level is not given to you. Okay, you are at 50 DME. You can assume to be at a lower flight level. You can choose your own flight level. It doesn't matter. When you are at CTR, you get a good range with tower. We spoke about it, I think, yesterday or day before yesterday. I mean, the couple past classes. So don't really stick with those level restrictions when you're so close to your destination. You have to talk to destination. ATC information will be with destination, and your airport ATC will only give you ATC information. Control will not give it to you. Only tower will give it to you, or ground will give it to you. So no matter where you are, you'll be talking to tower only. So you can say flight level 100. I think 50 DME 1000 is a little too high for me. So I will assume that I'm at a lower flight level only. I could say flight level 70, flight level 50, flight level 80. Actually, it would be given to you, but here you can assume whatever you have to assume with respect to a lower flight level, not too high, not too low. So if you're confused between making a choice, then go with what comes to your first comes to your mind directly. But you don't have to be blank over here. You have to be having a choice over here. And the choice is very easy to make, You can just take any lower altitude. 70 is safe, 80 is safe. CTR, you're on CTR. It's just like requesting for transit clearance. No matter what altitude you're in, it's line of sight. You can talk to tower. ATC information will come from tower only. Nobody else is going to give to you. Even if you would have been at flight level 100 or 200 also, you would have requested it from tower also, because it's ATC information. It'll only come to you from tower or ground. Mainly here, tower. So it is not really a point where I think I would be confused about choosing a flight level. For me, it's very simple. I'm calling tower because it's ATC information, and I'm assuming wherever or whatever comes to my mind with respect to the logic. So you go with that. What would you choose in that place, Siddharth?
So actually, I think I made a mistake maybe in writing the question, because in the route I wrote like whiskey 9er till Busbo and whiskey 20 at flight level 300.
Sorry, say again.
So in the route, in my question, I made a mistake, I guess. I wrote the route
Where
is
in your question? In your question, there's no route. Question is 50 DME inbound Hyderabad. You failed to take ADC.
So in the flight plan, sir.
Okay. Yeah, what was the mistake you made?
So like I wrote whiskey 9er till Busbo and then whiskey 20 at flight level 300.
No, this is highlighted separately. It's a cruising altitude. It's a part of your ICAO flight plan. This is a cruise altitude. It's not a part of the route.
Okay, so yeah, that's the mistake I made. Like I thought after Busbo we have to climb at flight level 300.
No. So I was pointing it out, right, students? That's where I verified everything. This is a cruising altitude. See, one mistake we made in our flight plan or understanding flight plan, we might make a wrong answer in our question number 4. This is why I tell everyone, students, don't worry, study your flight plan and read it carefully. There should not be any mistake. Just an example, not that Siddharth, you made mistake. You will learn like this only. But if we make any mistake in the flight plan, it can definitely impact our calls. So please be very careful with it. But good that Siddharth, you were able to figure out what you were doing wrong on your own. I really appreciate that. That is a good learning. Okay, Preetham, tell me what's on your mind.
Sir, I have a question, but not regarding this flight plan. So, for example, suppose we are holding at runway 21, something like that, and we saw a car crash or something on fire, but not regarding to us. So we have to make a pen call, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, for example, we have made a pen call, so we have to go back to the apron again and file the requirement documents or something like that, or just we have to do it after in the destination.
What was the last part of the question? Say again, please.
Like if we make a pen or made a call, so we have to file some documents and everything, right? Regarding the investigation and all the stuff.
No, you will just report it to ATC right now. It will not, you don't have to do anything else when you see a pan. You don't have to do anything else. You just have to report it to the ATC with respect to a pan call. If you're holding short of a runway 2, let's say it's Mumbai, it'll say Mumbai Tower, India, correction, pan, Mumbai Tower, Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, holding short runway 02. See an aircraft on fire on runway or near runway, wherever you spot it. Request send immediate firefighting services and emergency medical support. Appears to be a ground service vehicle and occupied with people and unable to identify number of people. Something like that. That's all that you will do. That's it. If they are listen to this first carefully. That's all that you will do. Are you clear with this?
When
somebody says something, you cannot say no directly. Then the point of that person explaining that point to you will be waste. Okay, tell me, what are you saying?
I'm talking about like a real life situation.
I'm also talking about real life situation. Carry on.
Like in real life, suppose after making a pen, do you have to file the documentation for that?
No, not unless that problem is associated with your aircraft. You just report it to ATC. When the problem is with someone else, you just report it to ATC. If the problem is related to you, then you will do a logging in your pilot defect report, PDR. Okay. If somebody else is in danger, you don't have to do it. If you have some material, if you have something, share it with me directly. That's why यहाँ मैंने ये सब देखा है. ये clarify करो मेरे साथ आप.
नहीं जैसे ये बस एक normal questions for knowledge.
If you see somebody else in threat where you're reporting a pan, you just have to report it on RT, nothing else. Okay. If that pan is belonging to you, your aircraft, then you have to report it in your reports after landing. You have to inform all the necessary people. There are documents given to you. Basically, they're registers. We call them. They're similar to manuals. There's a CDR. There is a PDR. Even these cabin crews have a register to fill in every time after they are done with a flight. That is where they log it. A pilot logs it in the PDR and goes away if there's not been a major incident. The engineers come, they check what the pilot reported, and they will simply go and check that particular aspect of the aircraft. But if it's a pan situation, Whether you do it or not, people will come automatically to you and they will take you somewhere and they will ask you to write a lot of things. They'll ask you to do a lot of things, but you will be asked to do it. They will know it already. You don't have to, it's not going to be like you're going to land by yourself and then walk out yourself and then choose whether you have to go and report or not. If there's a pan related to your own aircraft safety, then by the time you land, you will be taken to places by yourself. But you will do your job, which will be taught to you by the airline. What are the reports you have to fill? What are the forms that you have to fill? How do you report incidents? How do you report? Everything will be taught to you. You stick to that training right now. Generally, if someone else is in danger, and if you're taught in your airline training that if you see someone else in danger when you're reporting pan, you have to log it here in your observation report, and this is your observation report, then you will be doing it. So be on the lookout when you're joining a training if they're teaching you anything extra or not. Are you understanding the gist? What's going to happen?
Affirm, sir. Victor Tango Delta Alpha
If what
Sierra.
I say is not matching with what you know, I'm just saying this to everyone, then do share your references also with me. I'll give you more clarification on that. All right. So your answer I was giving indirectly with respect to exams first, that you just report, you don't have to do anything else. Report pan and report that somebody else is in danger, because pan definition says that a condition or a situation that affects the safety of your aircraft, your passengers, or any other person or vehicle in sight. So anything that you see requires immediate assistance will also be a pan for you. Sometimes one bad condition could be close to you and you could also be impacted with that. For you, it could be Mayday then, because for you, you would require immediate assistance. So you have to be very careful how you, in those realistic situations, how you understand these things. But as a pilot, when you go through the RT manuals, when you go through emergency communications, urgency communications, the manuals, the documents, they say that your job is to only report to the appropriate ATC, nothing else. Anything else that you require, an airline will be teaching you with respect to what their operations are. Do you understand the difference here, students? I hope, Pritam, you have got it. You've got both the things. Your answer also and what I was saying, that also.
Affirm, sir. Victor Tango Delta Alpha Sierra.
Students, be very careful whenever you're asking a doubt. I'm giving a resolution. Listen to all that I say, and if I'm asking for a confirmation, say, yes, sir, I understood that, but I want a direct answer to my question, which I don't think I've got here. And my question is this. Please do that, okay? Otherwise, I will be in the understanding that, okay, the first part that I've said, you have understood that also. And whatever I'm going to say, that also. But what would really be happening? You just simply ignored this. You only got this. And then I will never teach you this again because I am thinking you have got it correctly. So this mismatch will happen then. Okay. Or otherwise you can always respond like this, sir, ye meko baad mein batana, please. Meko direct answer de do bas. But be very clear about it. Like that. So Pritam just did that. No. But I tell people, student, never say no like that to anyone out there in aviation if they're talking to you like that. Roger. And then go ahead with your request. Okay. It's just a basic directive that I'm giving everyone. It really, these no things can block a few things from coming inside because we are focused on a specific question. But everything that I tell you, sometimes you will see if you need this, I'll start talking about this, and then lead you to this. For you to understand this will be very important. This path that I'll show you. So this is why I'm saying this, okay? Nothing else. But Pritam, how did this doubt come across? Please share your thoughts so that I understand it better. So that, if I come across some more elements of knowledge, I could share that with you all. So what were you thinking when you got this?
So it's just a normal question just comes to my mind, like, because we were in a holding point. So I was just thinking, like if I make a pen call, do you have to go back to the apron or just I can continue my flight?
So that was the main question. You never said that, that you were thinking whether I should continue or not.
Mhm.
You cannot continue if the runway has accident. In that case, what would you do? See, that is the main thing. See, students, always come to the point. During your admissions also we tell you, right? Direct, be direct, come to the point. So here, carry on, discuss couple of more points, Preetham, over this.
Sorry, say again, sir.
If there's anything more to this thought, please continue sharing so I understand the whole thing in your mind.
Yeah, so for example, if I'm in a holding point and I'm ready for departure and everything, and I saw on my right hand side that there is a crash of like follow me call or something like that. So I made a pen call and everything is fine. So after that, can we continue the flight or we have to go back to the airport and do the procedure, all the stuff, or we can go directly to the destination and we can do on that.
Everyone put yourself in this situation. Now, crash and follow me accident. There are two different things. Okay. If it is a crash, the entire airport is going to be closed right now. If it's a follow me incident, you can request for an alternate runway if you are getting an alternate runway. If you are carrying a priority flight, then you have to depart. You need an alternate runway. What if your airport doesn't have alternate runway? Then you all will be halted wherever you are. What if staying near the runway, holding point where you are, is going to impact your safety because of the accident or the crash? Then you, along with other people, might be directed to taxi back to apron. But then ATC is not going to invest so much of time in directing all aircrafts unless they are required to go to a different place. They will ask all stations to stop transmitting. All aircraft, or all stations on this frequency stop transmitting. It means you all will have to stop transmit. Those aircrafts that are in air will be given holding patterns by approach or control. Other aircraft that were supposed to land will be diverted somewhere or asked to approach, depending upon their fuel and everything. Here in the immediate vicinity of the aerodrome, the FIC will be informed by the tower, ground movements, ground ATC will start sending the evacuation and everything, all the teams. Okay, there'll be a phase for distress emergencies announced on all the radio frequencies. Okay, search and rescue teams will come. Okay, hazard team will come. Biochem teams will come. There are so many things that might be there. They all will come, and then people will try to initiate communication with that particular aircraft if it's a crash. I'm all talking about a crash right now. And being so close to the airport, and if there has been a crash on the airport might be closed down for 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 5 hour, 8 hours. Depends what the ATC decides, depends upon what kind of priority flights needs to be taken off. If you have a priority flight, only then you'll be allowed to take off in this situation. Otherwise, we all will have to wait then. Everybody will be stopping everything where they are, everything. And if being where you are will impact more of your safety, then you'll be asked to taxi somewhere else. So it is all subjective to what is happening. You as a pilot are just report what you see on ATC. And you thinking, sir, what is my intent? So in the end, it is related to your exam only. So you should come to that conclusion so that I can give you the realistic answer when you're asking your doubts. So if I'm doing that right now, what would you do? You will say, holding position, request further instructions. That's it you will do. Nothing else. If it's on the same runway on which you are, or if it's a priority flight for you, then you'll say, due VIP on board or due hospital flight or due human organ transplant on board, request alternate runway and expeditious handling. But it sounds very insensitive unless you don't have any priority. Even a VIP might have to wait unless it's a national security flight related flight that you have to go. So it is all very subjective in this case. It could be a lot of possibilities. When we shorten it with respect to what you are supposed to do in the examination, like Preetham is asking, sir, what would I do? Would I be going back, or would I hold my position, or would I proceed to my destination? Your runway is blocked now. You cannot go to your destination through this runway. You can very well choose to hold a position, say holding position, request further instructions. If your next question in the examination, let's say this is the first question. Look at the next question in the examination. If the next question puts you up in air somewhere, or next to next question puts you up in air somewhere, it means you have had departure. Now that is the trick in the exam. It means you have had departure. It means you have departed. How will you depart if there was an accident on your runway? So in this case, so you have to analyze everything to come up with a conclusion here. So in this case, obviously, if it's your first question and after that second or third question's putting you in air, then you will say, then you will take this call. So first see what the other questions are. Sometimes it helps to see other questions. Last time I heard from a student, couple of sessions before, sir, I saw the other questions and I panicked more, and that impacted my first question performance. Students learn to handle that. So the time you should check other questions before giving conclusion are such questions where you are confused what to do. Should I proceed? Should I hold? Should I go back? Right? Generally, you'll only go back to apron when you want to offload a misbehaving passenger or when you want to offload a sick passenger. Generally, you will change position, go to runway dumble area for a runway when you have a bomb threat to disembark the passengers so that the plane can be away and people can, do that, do the bomb check thing, the bomb disposal squad. Again, in this situation, if your next questions are determining and putting you ahead in air, then the call would be like this: pan, 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 pan. Mumbai Tower, India 123, holding short runway 32. See another aircraft, skid off runway 32. Appears to have an accident and appears to have been on the left side of the runway. Appears to have had structural damage. Okay. Victor Tango Alpha Lima Kilo, holding short runway 32. Request alternate runway and departure on priority as available. You could say that in real time to show some sensitive aspect to your performance. In exams, you don't have to say request taxi to alternate runway is what you could say. That's it. Request taxi to alternate runway. And then you would also need a new departure clearance if you're changing your runway. So be on the lookout for that also. So now you tell me, Preetham, what would you think? Is your next question in the exam putting you in air or not? If yes, then what would you do? You'll report pan, request taxi to alternate runway and be on the lookout for a new departure clearance. If your next, all questions are ground-based questions only, or maybe the next questions are after a couple of hours, actual time of departure delay, and then in air, then you would understand that you are made to wait wherever you were. And if something else hint is given to you, then you might be able to decipher that probably you were given taxi back to apron also. Generally, that would not happen in such cases because we would want to restrict all movement. So you would be required to hold wherever you are, unless you have an emergency to go to apron. Why do you need to go to apron in another emergency? Because you cannot offload passengers anywhere else other than the apron. If you are thinking I can offload passengers anywhere by holding the plane on taxiway and then getting a step ladder and getting it, never ever is it going to be possible. Only you can offload any passenger either on the parking bay or in cases of emergencies wherever you land on the runway crash site, that is separate, or bomb disposal when you're going to the runway dumble area, wherever the safe area is where you're taught to go. In such cases, only there that will be another place where you'll be offloading, that is disembarking. Offload means only for misbehaving passengers will use offload as a strategically removing all passengers out is called disembarking. Okay, I hope this helps you understand in much bigger picture. And Preetham, I'm expecting you all to be very, very clear with respect to your doubts. And I want you all to be to the point, on the point always. Okay. Anything else you have, please keep it parked. Okay. And I will see you and be on the lookout for an update. You will be given an email or on WhatsApp, you'll be notified If we are having a lecture tomorrow, then we'll wrap it up by 1 o'clock only is the plan right now. So don't worry about it if we are having it. But you don't worry, you just go ahead with your tasks, go ahead with your final prep, and keep me in sync with whatever you need and whatever you don't need. Are we there, students? I'm teaching a blind class. I've given you a lot of information. I don't really know if you all are getting it or not. Can you give me one acknowledgement before I leave? Did you really think this session?
Sir, Victor Tango Sierra Juliet Lima.
Affirm, sir. Victor Tango Sierra Sierra Mike.
Affirm, sir. Victor Tango Romeo Sierra Kilo.
Affirm, sir. Victor Tango Zulu November Victor.
Anyone who's not found this productive, leave me a message after the session. I'll keep it confidential, okay? Chalo, I'll take your leave now. Whenever we're doing the session, we are going to practice this paper, maybe next paper, maybe this, that. Be on the lookout, but we have to practice a lot. All right? Chalo. Thank you very much, and I'll see you.
Thank you, sir. Victor
Thank
Tango
you,
Romeo
sir.
Bravo
Bye.
Victor.
Thank you, sir.